Hello everyone, welcome back again to Angela's Craft Room. Today I've got this lovely sweet little card. It's just a thank you card, and I've used the stamp set A Good Day from Stamping Up, and I've used the woodland embossing folder on the Marina Mist, and I've used the coordinating scallop punches, which are 1 1/8 of an inch and 1 3/8 of an inch, and then I've also used the 1 1/2 inch circle punch as well, so I could layer this bigger sentiment here. And I've also, you can see there, I've put a piece of crafting foam underneath the Marina Mist, so it really lifts it up off the card. So we'll just pop that over there. Now this is the stamp set, A Good Day. It's a cute little set. It's got 13 images, and I think it could be used for just about any occasion. I have used it quite a bit, so I'm just going to pop on a piece of grid paper there. Now for the inside of your card, you need a piece, I've got a piece of Sahara sand, and it measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches, and then I've got a piece of perfect plum which I've embossed with the fluttering butterfly embossing folder. So that's Sahara sand and perfect plum, and the perfect plum is 5 1/4 inches by 2 inches. So I'm just going to, this is for the inside of the card, I'm just going to put a side panel down like that. Just grab my glue. Always good to get the inside of the card out the way. So then I just want it to go down that side panel, side of the card, and it's going to cover up where I've written the measurements, so I don't even have to erase the measurements. And then I've got a piece of Blushing Bride, which measures, this is a bit of a bigger card than I normally do. This one measures 11 inches long by 4 1/4 inches wide and scored at 5 1/2. And then I'm just going to glue that just inside the card. And that's Sahara sand as well that I'm popping inside the card. You could always have this piece a bit narrower, but you know, there's still plenty of room there to write your message in there. So that's the base of the card. Then I've got a piece of perfect plum which I have embossed in the fluttering, and it measures 5 1/4 by 4. And then I've got another piece of Sahara sand which measures 5 1/8 of an inch by 3 7 by 5 1/8 of an inch by 3 7/8 of an inch. Now the ideal is that's going to sit underneath the perfect plum, so that when I punch the holes in here, you'll be able to see the Sahara sand underneath. Okay, so when I punch the holes, I use a 1.5 inch circle punch, and there's no wrong or right where you're going to punch it. It just depends what look you want. So I like to do 1, 2, 3 sort of, but I don't, these two here I have them offset a little bit. I don't have them directly under each other. So I'm just going to go in and punch my first one. It's about there. Then I'm going to punch this one in here. Sorry if I went off camera there for a short moment. And then I'm going to come up from the bottom this way, because I don't want this circle to be in line. I want it to be over a little bit. You might like them all in a line, and that's perfectly fine. Just punch them where you want them to be. So that's your 3 punched out. And I think it looks nice when you do this technique that you do emboss it. You can leave it plain if you want to. Now just where I've punched out that, because it's embossed, sometimes it just leaves a little bit of a frayed in a couple of spots, so I'm just rubbing my nail around that circle to get rid of that frayed little bit. It's so minute that it's just not worth getting the scissors out for it. Okay. So then what I'm going to do is pop the Sahara sand underneath there. Like that. So we'll glue that onto there. And the Sahara sand is a little bit smaller than the perfect plum. And you'll see there's a little bit of glue that's on the circles. That doesn't matter because we're going to be putting our images over there, so don't stress about that at all. So that's our front already. Then I went ahead and punched out, coloured it with, I stamped it with Memento ink, and then I coloured them with the Stampin' Up blends just to save a bit of time. And then I've punched out 2 scallop punches and a circle punch for that. So that is the 1.5 inch circle, and then these are the 1 3/8 of an inch scallop punch, and these ones are the 1 1/8 of an inch scallop punch. So I'm just going to grab my dimensionals, and we're going to pop 2 on the back of these 2. So just peel them off. So we're just going to layer those onto the blushing bride. Just press that down, and then we're just going to grab this other one and layer that onto there. And then while we're at it, we might as well do the big one. So I'm going to put 3 on the back of the big one. And then just layer that onto the plain circle, that is 1 1/2 inch circle punch. Now, because I want the sentiment, the thank you sentiment, to be really popping off the page, I'm going to also put dimensionals on the back of this one. But the other 2 we're just going to glue. So then we're just going to push them up there, bring this back in. So I'm going to have my thank you so much right up the top there. Get it as straight as I can. So then just press down, and the dimensionals will take to the card. And then we're just going to pop these 2 on there. So you will see a little bit of the Sahara sand, which is good. So it's important to have coordinating colours that go with each other for this particular layout. And then just our last one underneath. Just straighten that tree up a little bit. So that's the front of our card. Now you could just glue that straight onto your card, like so. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a piece of crafting foam and I'm going to glue that to the back. Now just make sure, because you don't want to be able to see the crafting foam from the front. So I just use scissors. I find it cuts a lot better with scissors than rather trying to cut it with your trimmer. So just cut it down till you're happy with what size you want there. And we need to apply this with some tacky glue. So you can get that at any cheap shop. The Tombow glue will not work well on the crafting foam. So you need to use a tacky glue, and we don't want too much. Then I'm just going to pop that down. And it's a lot, you could use your adhesive foam strips if you wanted to, but this is a lot more cost effective and it gives you a really good all over even layered popping off your card. So then we need to add the tacky glue on the back of the foam, and you just get this crafting foam in sheets, usually like an A4 sheet, just from a cheap craft shop. In Australia we just get it from Spotlight or just a cheap, we have quite a few cheap craft shops that you can just pick up these little odds that we like to use. And I found that the crafting foam is so much more cost effective. You can get it off eBay. I will tell you that if you do get it from the cheap shop, it will only be like about 1 millimeter in thickness, whereas I'd have bought it off of eBay as well, and you can get a lot thicker pieces. I like to get a 3 millimeter thickness, and then I just cut it to the desired size I want. Now it just takes a little couple of seconds to adhere to the card. So I hope you liked this card today, and I hope you'll give it a try. It is a really good stamp set, that a good day, and if you get the coordinating scallop punches, it just makes life so much easier. So once again, thank you for subscribing to my channel. So that's adhered now. So that's the card today. So we used Blushing Bride, Perfect Plum and Sahara Sand. And on the first one I just did Night of Navy, Marina Mist and Whisper White. So there we go, that's another technique for you, another layout of a card. So I hope it's helpful for you, and until next time, happy crafting.